ample amount of time to get there. Because I know a lot of times people, it's like morning time. Like I'm from Los Angeles, so it's 7 in the morning, and then other people it's like 12 at night and 10:44, 9:44. So pretty sure everybody's up by then and eating breakfast and whatnot. So I'll try to make it like spread out. Dude, I'm so mad that Mr. Bond don't let you react to him because he has some fires. Sorry, that just has some fire story that just came out. Oh, does he? I think it was the ones. I think the ones that he flagged was the 411 missing person, because I think someone told me that he teamed up with that guy, and I think that guy is not letting people react to those ones. But I'm not too sure. I mean, I remember I asked him a long time ago, and he gave me permission to react to his videos, but I think those were the only ones that got copyrighted. So I'm not too sure about the rest of them. But it's 0:45, so hey, what's up, y'all? It's Zimps, and welcome to another live stream. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying this content, man. I hope you guys are keep showing great support, man, and the videos will keep coming. Thank you guys so much, man. Really appreciate it. We're getting so close to 2,000 subscribers, man. So keep doing what you guys are doing, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and it will turn out just fine. But this video is by Mr. Nightmare, so if you guys haven't already, be sure you swoop down to the comment section or description box, click on the link, go watch the videos in entirety while me pausing and stopping and talking through the whole thing. Yo, let me tell you guys something about Tinder. Tinder is a dangerous app. Not only are people using fake accounts, but people are creepy, people are stalkers, some people are serial killers, some people have disabilities and stuff like that. Not like in a bad way, but they have some kind of disability that usually end up being bad, easily being creepy, or you end up getting hurt. It's happened to me plenty of times. Don't get me wrong, Tinder is a place where you can be anything you want to be, because not only that, some people like to use their bottom half of their pictures and just the top half. If you ever see somebody with either one picture or just this part of their body showing, please swipe left, because it's not going to end well. Either that account is fake, or is that person not what they claim to be, and things may appear bigger than they seem. But for now, let's get it. Let's go. Papa. He's Papa.
I'm very anti-dating apps.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm biased because of the nightmarish experience I had with Tinder.
Tell me about
I only met
it.
up with 3 people ever off Tinder. The first 2 experiences were nothing special. I wasn't excited about either of the girls, and there were no second dates. But compared to the third meetup, oh boy, in comparison, the first 2 went phenomenally. I matched this brunette girl named Annette. She had up 4 pictures, 3 of which she was posing alone in what looked like her backyard.
Not bad.
The 4th one was in front of a pond. At the time, I didn't see it as a red flag that she was alone in all of her pictures.
Red flags.
Honestly, why would I?
Right?
But she was decently attractive, at least in my standards. So I talked to her, and it got to the point where she asked what I was doing that night. And when I said nothing, she asked if she could come over and hang out. Considering my bedroom and my parents' house
Red flags. Hold on just a second now. Now, either the one or two things. Either it's not a girl and it's a dude, or she's a hoe. Alright, but then, which is really rare, because usually most of the time, girls just don't show up. They're like, oh, they usually don't be that pushy and be like, oh, I'm going to come over right now. I mean, I never experienced it. Maybe I'm not good looking enough. Maybe I don't got the juice, like Tropicana, but it's never been like that easy. So that's kind of a red flag in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, but that's a red flag to me. Or it's a setup, 100% a setup. I can't see this happening.
Basement with a separate entrance. It would work out rather nicely. We set a time for her to come over. When the time came, she texted me literally right on the dot that she was outside. Punctual, to say the least.
Girls are never on time. That's the second red flag.
Met her in the side basement door entrance, and we walked downstairs. I tried to make the greeting not awkward, but right off the bat, first impression, she seemed weird. Her responses were short, her laugh was weird. When we sat down on my bed and I asked her how long the drive was, she laughed, like she didn't even answer my question. She just laughed like I told a joke. And as she laughed, she looked right at me, her eyes still open wide. It was uncomfortable, and I already knew I wasn't going to vibe with this girl. I wanted her out ASAP. I turned the TV on in the background for filler, and I pretended to be laughing at the TV because of the constant awkward silences. And she never once batted an eye to look at the TV. She just watched me the whole time. I was able
Hell
to wrap it up
no.
quickly by pretending I got a text about going into work early the next day.
Wrap what
And
up?
I implied I needed to go to sleep. She seemed like she didn't want to leave. It was extremely awkward. But I managed to get her to follow me out the basement door. When she was finally gone, I had to ask myself, what did I just put myself through? Not even 5 minutes after she left, she texted me, "Are you sure you have to go to bed? I was having fun." I read the text and sighed.
Are you sure you have to go to bed? Who are you to tell? What? Who? Are you sure you... Like, you can't alert... Let me tell you guys something. You cannot alert crazy people that you know they're weird. Once they know that you know they're weird, they're going to start being even more weird, and they're going to know that you don't want to be around them, and that's going to make them want to get even closer to you. Fellas, women, whatever else, please do not take people home on the first date. Don't do it. Take them out somewhere. Take them to AMC or take them to Walgreens. Fill up a dollar basket. I don't know. Just take them somewhere. Don't bring them home, because see if they're weird. Because the 9 times out of 10, if they're weird, you can be like, hey, be right back. Slip out the exit. Go home. Get on the bus. Whatever it is, man. Take your bike. Drive home. Just leave them there. They can't catch you. They don't know where you live. Now that this girl knows where he lives, she's probably not going to go home. And she's probably going to find her way back inside the house, either when he's sleeping or the next day. She's weird. I don't know. I mean, I gotta tell you guys a story. I'm gonna wait till this story's over though. I got a story of my own.
I threw my phone on the bed to charge while I went to get food upstairs. When I got back, I had 3 more texts from her, 2 being question marks, the last one being hello with more question marks. This girl was clearly nuts, so I blocked her. Done and done. I went to bed an hour later. I woke in the middle of the night, like I often do. I'm a light sleeper, it's really annoying. Waking up randomly isn't weird for me. I instinctively felt around for my phone to check what time it was, but my phone wasn't by its normal spot on the ledge charging, and I 100% remembered putting it there. So I got up and started looking around for my phone. I turned on the bedside strip of red LED lights I had hung on the wall to light up the room just a bit. I couldn't find it though, and I'm kind of the person who will let that bother me until I find it. I went upstairs to grab the landline phone and bring it down so I could call my number. When I dialed my number, I heard it ringing from inside the boiler/laundry room, which was connected to my room.
Oh my gosh.
I entered the boiler room, and there was my phone left on the washer machine, causing the entire machine to vibrate as it rang. I knew this was bizarre because I didn't do laundry that night. I didn't even remember going in there. I picked up my phone to see a bunch of new messages from some random number. I opened the texts to see 2 pictures of me sleeping. Above the pictures were 2 texts saying, "Nice, good job blocking me." The second one saying, "Lock your door next time." And I realized what an idiot I was, that I was so anxious to get her out of my room that I didn't even lock the door when she left. And I can't say for certain, but I felt like I wasn't alone in the room. Like I just felt another presence, and I had a feeling that she may have been hiding behind the cylinder boiler in the darkest corner of the room. But I didn't go look.
Shit.
I went upstairs to get my parents and call the police. Given that the girl was dumb enough, or crazy enough, to leave a digital footprint, tracking her and getting charges pressed on her was easy. Her name wasn't even Annette. Her real name was Sylvana. Her charges were a breaking and entering charge and a stalking and harassment charge. I, of course, got a restraining order, and I've never heard from that girl again.
Oh man, Thick Boy said at least she did the laundry. Alright, so my story was back in the day when I was using Tinder. It was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I matched with this girl, and from the bottom up she looked, I was just like, God, thank you so much. Oh man, I can't believe this is happening to me. It's like a dream come true. And then she pulled up, right? She had like a 2017, or was it 2000? No, it was like 2016 at the time. Whatever it was a brand new Mustang. And it's like when they started making like the little Slenders, like sports models. So I was like, oh dang, she balling, right? So I see her from a distance. I'm like, oh dang, what's up? Walk over. I get in the car. I was like, oh my goodness. It was bad. It was all bad. And back then, I really didn't like want to be mean, so I kind of like said, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you," and gave her like a little one of them little friend hug taps. You know what I'm saying, like around the back or whatever. And then, yeah, it was bad. Like nail polish was chipped, split ends, like almost like, I wouldn't say unibrow, but like the eyebrows, like the stuff was right here, it's like getting ready to connect almost. And I was just like, damn. She was like, "You ready to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, we can go." So we go. And then she takes me to, was it Universal? Yeah, she takes me to Universal Studios. And the whole time she just kept trying to touch me. And I was just like, oh, fuck. And then I think eventually, after we seen movies and stuff, I think she started to like catch on. And she was like, "Are you not having fun?" I was like, yeah, I am having fun. And she was like, "I have a second mind to leave you here." And I was just like, "Oh no, please don't leave me." In my mind, I'm like, "Please don't leave me here." I was like, maybe 10, 12 miles away from my home, bruh. And if I were to take a Uber, man, it would have hurt my pockets bad. And I was just like trying to play it out and try to be friendly for the rest of the time. Eventually, she did take me home, but that was the last time I seen her. I was just like, oh man, it was bad. That's why at the beginning of the video I said, make sure you guys look, if they have a picture and it's only the top half of their body, do not talk to them.
I've tried all the major dating apps, and I never really have much luck on them. My friend told me he was having luck on this app, Hot or Not, so I gave it a try.
Hot or Not?
Right off the bat, I was getting a lot more likes, albeit from girls I didn't really find attractive at all. Still, on my first batch of free swipes, I matched this one cute blonde girl named Julia. I'll spare the details of our conversation, but it went excitingly well. It was one of those rare matches where the girl was attractive and very receptive to my messages.
Sounds
seeming
about
like
right.
She was actually enjoying talking to me. We quickly moved to Snapchat. I asked her for her number, but she said let's talk on Snapchat instead. I was fine with that. I added her on Snap and she added me back. Her Snap score was low, like under 1,000. So right away I was suspicious.
Red flag.
This may have been too good to be true,
Yep.
like I thought. She messaged me, and I messaged back being blunt, asking her to snap a selfie of herself just for my safety. I told her there's a lot of catfish profiles going around, so I can't be too careful. She opened the message right away, but didn't reply for a minute. I thought for sure the account was going to block me any second. But instead, to my surprise, I got a notification that I got a snap from Julia. I opened the snap, and it was the same blonde-haired girl from the pictures. Still, I wasn't convinced. So I asked her to give me a thumbs up or a peace sign.
Yeah, that's how you
Open
do it.
chat.
There you
I
go.
was waiting to see if she'd block me this time. She didn't respond for a couple minutes, until finally, she sent another snap. I opened it, and it was half her face smiling, holding up a peace sign. That was enough for me. I snapped her back, and then we messaged for a little while. We eventually made plans to hang out. She invited me over to her house, which was across town, not too far away.
I'm curious to know what's going to happen.
She said she was home alone and that it wouldn't be a problem. She gave me an exact address. I noticed she had her Snap map on, so I did a little check to make sure her address matched her Snap location, and it seemed to check out. I told her I'd be over in a few. I changed into decent clothes, sprayed on some cologne, combed my hair, and got in my car to head over. I remember thinking I may have overdid it with the cologne. She snapped me while I was driving, asking if I was on the way. I told her
Snapchat trash.
yes. She read it immediately but didn't respond. I got to the house. It had the number 22 written clear as day next to the door. I messaged her that I'm here. She didn't open the snap though, so I decided to just go ring the bell. There were no cars in the driveway, and the grass seemed like it hadn't been cut in a few weeks.
Get out of there.
I rang the bell, but she didn't answer.
So
I started knocking really loud. When she still didn't answer, I went back to Snap and tried calling her using that.
it's not that serious,
Just kept
bro.
ringing though. She didn't answer. Was I just pranked? I suddenly heard a woman's voice yelling something at me across the street. For some reason, I imagined it to be Julia at first, till I realized it was an older woman yelling, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" I began walking back to the street and called back, "I'm meeting someone." She said back to me at a lower volume now that we were closer that I have the wrong house, nobody lives there. I asked the address of the house, and the address she told me matched the address this Julia girl gave me. I thanked her and got in my car. I went to try to message Julia one more time, but she blocked me. I felt like I was played for a fool. They unmatched me on Hot or Not too. Luckily, I took screenshots of the profile before that, because I sent some to one of my friends before driving to the house. When I got home, I sent screenshots to my friend group chat with like 8 other people, asking if anyone knew her. One guy, my friend Darren, said that's Lisa, a girl who overdosed on heroin 2 years back. When he said that, another friend in the group chat confirmed he was right. I got goosebumps because the snaps I got were from a girl who matched that Lisa girl completely. I told my friends, and they thought either I was crazy or the situation was crazy. I'm without a doubt certain the girl in those snaps was Lisa. How this happened, I have no earthly idea. Better question, why was I led to that house? I can't even try to imagine.
What I can imagine is that old lady was his guardian angel, because without that old lady, I'm pretty sure he would have stood right there and got rocked. And I think they blocked him when they found out the lady came outside, because no one's going to send you to a abandoned house. That's a horrible prank. If I pull up to your house and I say I'm here and you don't open that message in the next 2 minutes, I'm turning around and I'm going home. I'm not even going to give you the satisfaction of waiting outside, man. If I already told you on the way and we guaranteed it, like, nah, man. That's why you got to meet in public places, people. I say it again, please meet in public places, because people are weird. And I wonder, so is that Lisa girl even alive, or is that somebody that looked like her, or what? Because if it matched the description, she passed a peace sign test. Usually when you tell people to put up a thumbs up or a peace sign to know if it's real, they usually block you because they're like, oh, dang, the jig is up. I don't have any of those pictures. You have to make them do something awkward, because that's the only way you're going to know if their account is real or not. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, the old ladies came in super clutch, Abe.
In high school, I was in a big graduating class, so for that reason, I didn't get to know a lot of my classmates on a personal level. Using dating apps in college, though, I was able to match and kind of connect with a lot of the girls I'd never really spoken to back in high school. I was using my app of choice when I matched this girl, Maria. She was in my grade in high school. I followed her on Instagram and Snap already, but I never really got to know her in high school.
Tinder!
I sent her the first message and asked her how she'd been. I talked to her about high school a lot, and how it was funny that we never really spoke or had any classes together. She said we should hang out that night. I asked if she'd want to meet somewhere for drinks or food.
There we go.
She said she's down to just come hang at my place if that's cool.
No.
Honestly, I like that idea even better.
No.
I told her sure. She asked if my parents were home. I told her no, only my sister. Then I gave her my address. She said she'd let me know when she's on her way. Then it was just a waiting game. I waited and waited for the notification saying Maria sent you a new message. In fact, it was going on past an hour. I sent a follow-up message on Tinder, but she didn't reply. A few minutes later, I checked her Instagram page and saw she posted a story a few minutes ago. It was a meme. Was she ignoring me now? I checked her Snap story, which was posted within half an hour, and she was apparently with her friend, another girl from our high school.
What's good, Bradley?
I didn't understand. Was she coming or not? I commented on her story. Are you still coming later? She opened it a few minutes later and replied saying, what are you talking about? I repeated the question, then added a reference to the conversation on the app. She replied, I don't have that app. Send me the profile. So I did, and she told me right away it was a catfish and to report it. I did so. And I think Tinder automatically unmatched the profile after that. But I wasn't concerned about someone using this girl's pictures. I was concerned someone had my address and knew my parents weren't home. I made sure every door was locked. I truly was expecting something to happen that night, but it was getting pretty late, and I was starting to feel a little more relaxed. When my guard was down, that's when it happened. A horrific scream from my little sister's room. I jumped off the couch to go run to her room. She opened the door just as I made it to the room, and we met at the doorway. She had this horrified look on her face, like she just saw a demon. She screamed that there's someone outside her window. I couldn't believe it. She ran upstairs while I went to her window to confirm it. There was no one out there now, but I knew it wasn't a coincidence.
That's some scary
I tried
shit,
to call
boy.
my parents, but I couldn't get a hold of either of them. My sister slept in my room with me that night because she was scared. I only went to bed after waiting downstairs for an hour, listening for anything possible. When I was finally in bed, that was when I heard a noise. My sister heard it too, because we both sat up at the exact same time. Our parents weren't supposed to be back that night. I went to lock the bedroom door and then got 911 on the phone.
There we go.
I whispered into the phone that I was certain we were currently the victims of a break-in. I told my sister to be quiet when she started making crying noises.
Oh my God.
Footsteps approached the door. Then someone tried twisting the doorknob. Then they started banging on the door.
Oh shit!
In a deep, angry-sounding voice, a man said, "I know you're in there. I can smell you." The 911 operator heard it, and she told me to hide in the closet with my sister. I waved my sister over to the closet, and she came. We sat in there quietly the best we could, but he kept banging and banging on the door. And my sister cracked. She cried out, "The police are coming. Leave us alone."
Oh my God.
The banging stopped. We heard the man laugh. Then there was silence. Next thing we knew, the police were outside, and the operator told me to quickly get to the front door if the coast was clear to let the police in. The police then did a thorough investigation of the house, which was clear. The entry and exit point was my parents' bedroom window, which he climbed through off the backyard awning. My little sister screaming about the police must have scared him off. The police recommended we sleep somewhere else.
Where?
We went to my friend Joe's house. Ever since then, I always verify whoever I'm talking to from online is actually who they say they are.
See, man, this is why. Oh my goodness! If the girl, I mean, I understand everybody's different, but man, it's either fight or flight. I don't know why operators say hide in the closet like the killer just gonna walk in and be like, "Well, they're not on the bed. They're not under the bed. I guess they just magically disappeared. I'm just gonna make my way out the house now." Like, bro, he's gonna find you in the closet. At least arm yourself or do something, bro. You're not about to just roll up in my house and scare my little sister and just think you about to take me out without a fight, bro. Like, nah, man. But I don't know. I'm gonna fight you with something, bro. Nipple twister or something, bro. You getting yours. I'm bite you if I have to. But I don't know about all that hiding stuff. That hiding stuff, man, it's like kind of like, hey, hide in here until he can get in and like kind of like kill you. Like, nah, find something around the room. Find a pencil or anything. Get ready to fight. That's why you don't just drop your freaking you don't drop your address like that. You always want to meet people in public a couple of times and then bring them back to your place. But don't ever just drop your address like that. But on a side note, that one girl is like, "That's not me." So I'd be like, "Oh, cool, but you still still down to come through or what?" No. He said, "Bro, I would just let him in. He seems kind of chill." He seems chill. Yo, FBI, what's good? Yo, what's good, Shock? Or is it Eric? What's good? Dropping government names up in here, boy. Alright, well, that was doing it for Mr. Nightmare. If you guys liked it, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Support your boy. On to the next video. Hold on, wait. Just a second. Let me go ahead and switch videos. Next up, we have... Excuse me. Next up, we got 3 real chilling events caught on security cameras. Seriously Strange number 17. This video is by Rob Gavigan. So if you guys haven't already, be sure you swoop down to the description box, click on that link, go watch the video, say entirety while me pausing and stopping and talking through the whole thing. You always pausing the video. You always pausing the video. Yeah, because I always got an opinion, be it. No, I'm playing. But no. Make sure you guys hit on this video content creator, or whatever you want to call it. He got really good content, man. So make sure you guys go stop by and show some love, show some support to him. Because one of his videos actually gave me a nightmare. And yeah, we talked about that. I don't want to keep bringing it up, but it is real. I'm a huge skeptic, but after that, I don't know. I may watch my mouth. No, I probably won't, to be honest with you. I probably won't at all. But for now, let's get it. Let's go. Just subscribe to Papa. Yo, thank you, Ape. I appreciate it. This is the second video. We got 2 more to go. I'm letting you guys pick the last one. So come together, get inside like a little huddle, and be like, hey, guys, what do you want to react to? I don't know what you want to react to. I don't know. What should you react to last? Now is the time to do it. Because I'm off Sunday and Monday, and we're going to be back at it again on Tuesday, which is your Monday. So yeah, I'm like in the future right now. And let me tell you guys, it's great. All right, let's get it.
This episode of Seriously Strange is brought to you in part by Simply Safe.
What's that?
Nowadays, most places we go to, whether to a store, a school, or a friend's house, there will be the eyes of cameras watching.
Oh yeah, of course.
For many, security cameras are not only to monitor the safety of a particular place, but are also a safeguard for the mind. We feel like there's something protecting us, or perhaps a record of the truth if anything were to unfortunately happen. However, we also don't typically expect to need it, much like with insurance. We buy it superstitiously, hoping it'll never come to that.
Was good, Santa?
But we have it, just in case.
Apple Man.
The tragic reality, though, is that security cameras pick up the horrors of humanity, from attacks to even the last breaths people take. When seeing such footage, there's a strange sensation of seeing what isn't for us to see.
What do you mean?
As if we were peeking through someone's window. The following cases will show the true eeriness that emanates from security footage that precedes or follows disturbing fates.
Uh-oh, guys, it's about to go down. All right, let's get it. Missy Bevers. I think
Terry Missy Bevers was a 45-year-old fitness instructor. She was married to Brandon Bevers and was the mother of 3 children. Additionally, she was a very active member of her community and held early morning fitness classes at the Creekside Church of Christ in Midlothian, Texas. At around 4 in the morning on April 18th, 2016, she was brutally murdered at the Creekside Church of Christ as she was preparing for one of her classes. It's alleged that she had not been at the church for long before she was murdered. She was then subsequently found an hour later by her students. However, the motion-activated security cameras at the church picked up a highly peculiar occurrence. A person had entered the church in full SWAT gear, even with police written on the individual's back. Due to the getup, it's still to this day unclear whether it was a man or a woman. In the footage, the individual is seen wielding a hammer, which eventually would be the murder weapon. According to the police reports, Bevers died due to multiple puncture wounds to her head and chest. The individual is seen walking along hallways, opening doors, peering, and most likely looking for Bevers herself. It's important to note the killer's gait. Their right foot is consistently turned outwards, making their walk uneven and rather specific.
That's creepy.
It's alleged that Missy and her husband Brandon were having both marital and financial issues. At the time of her murder, Brandon was on a fishing trip 600 miles away from Midlothian. An additionally peculiar detail is that a Nissan Altima was spotted in the church parking lot from 1:58 a.m. to 2:04 a.m. There is no identification of the owner of the car or why anyone was there in the first place. As always, people on the internet have come up with theories about who committed the murder.
Let's hear it.
A popular take is that Randy, Missy Bevers' father-in-law, is culpable. The first aspect is that the individual in the footage was somewhere between 5'2" and 5'7".
He got that hunchback
Though this
too.
is a rather large range, it is said that Randy fits the height and weight displayed in
Look
the
at that
footage.
foot.
Secondly, when comparing the footage from the church
That's
and
him.
footage of Randy, the gait seems similar, with an emphasis on the right foot. In side-by-side footage, there is a defined and uncanny similarity. Thirdly, there were reports that...
Did you see his foot? Yo, Santa, I see you. I said, what's up, Apple Man? Yo, that's him. Did you not see his foot shaped like a damn Tiger Woods golf club? It's him. It was him. He got the hunchback and everything. You can see his big-ass back in the video. Look how big his back is. Look at that back. Look. He got this big-ass hunchback from Notre Dame back right here. Look at that. It's the same big hunchback and the same foot. It's him, bro. He built like a beanbag or like a water balloon or something. I don't know, bro. It's him though. He's shaped like that. That big ass back. I don't know. He got a big back, a long back ass. All right, man. That's a thick back. Oh man, he got that back like Sandy on that hibernation episode of SpongeBob. All right, fellas, which one of you is the real Dirty Dan?
flirtatious interactions with another
Yo,
individual
this
on
is
social.
I'm sorry, imitator. This is 3 chilling events caught on camera by Rob Dyke.
Media. Missy was also on LinkedIn, where she allegedly
Damn.
received a creepy message from an unknown individual. Some believe that due to Missy and Brandon's struggle, Randy had a vested interest in killing her. In fact, just a few days after her murder, Randy reportedly brought a triple XL women's shirt stained with blood to the cleaners. His justification to account for the blood was from a dog injury. Surprisingly, his vet actually confirmed this. Lastly, people were also suspicious because he was allegedly out of town as well. What were the odds that both father and son were out of town in 2 separate places the exact night Missy was killed? To this day, we still have no answers.
Yeah, nah. I'll say no. I'll
Seriously
call cap.
Strange will resume right after this shout out to our sponsor, Simply Safe. Simply Safe is an easy to use.
I'm sorry. Simply Safe is easy to use. Probably a VPN or something like that. No disrespect, but yeah. All right. Ellie Tran.
Ellie Tran was 35 and the mother to her 2-year-old daughter. Her family had moved from Vietnam to Virginia Beach in order to assist her in raising her daughter, as she was a single parent. She had recently ended a tumultuous relationship with a man named Joseph Merlino III, who also was the child's father. Merlino owned a phone repair shop. After falling pregnant, Tran immediately voiced the significance of having her family involved in her daughter's life. In fact, once her parents moved from Vietnam, they lived in the same home as Tran. Merlino did not approve of this and declined to live with them. Though Merlino was reportedly extremely controlling and sometimes even scared Tran, she tried to make the relationship work, as she had traditional beliefs and didn't want a separated family. Before their imminent breakup, Tran had reported Merlino to the police. He had reportedly grabbed her by the neck and threatened to put her under the ground. This allegedly occurred in front of their daughter. Merlino didn't face much of a repercussion except a fine. Tran had been working many hours on end as a manicurist to ensure she could provide for her daughter as well as take care of her parents. Though she had split from Merlino, they were involved in a battle for the custody of their daughter, which kept them relatively close still. In diary entries, Tran admitted to being afraid of Merlino, who had allegedly followed her as well as tried to break into her home.
That's the thing, man. I don't see how men and women are capable of staying with somebody like that. They always say stuff like, oh, I can't leave, or he's going to find me, she's going to find me, I don't know what else to do. And then you go and you put restraining orders on these people, and not only does not do anything, but the police does not do anything either. As you see from multiple times during other cases, restraining orders is just like, okay, I can't go a certain amount of feet, but at the same time, I can still watch you from a distance, you know what I'm saying? And when people call in the police and say, well, this person is stalking me, I'm scared, and blah, 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 and the police is just like, oh, well, we can't do anything. But when people take, matters into their own hand and someone dies, and then that person gets arrested. So it's like, at what point do you just, like, what do you do? Like, that's the whole part of me, like, that's the whole thing for me, is just like, what are you trying to do? Like, what can you do at this point? Like, there's nothing you really can do. It's just sit there and deal with it and hope they don't get crazier and try to kill you, because once you try to cut things off, that's where everything gets worse. It happens all the time. And now she's creating diaries and they got a kid, and she can't, most of the time, women or men don't want to take the kid away from the other one, and it's just like the other spouse or whatever it may be, but it's just like, you have to get out of there, because now you're probably going to die, or you getting abused. It's just like, man, I don't understand it. Like, there's no really easy way to go about it. People, you can't leave. You can't do anything, really. So...
This was the catalyst
know.
for her to get security cameras installed outside of her house. As she got home on Valentine's Day in 2017 after work at around 8 p.m., she was surprised by Merlino. The security camera footage shows her exiting her car when Merlino jumps out from behind the bushes and grabs at her. What isn't directly noticeable in the footage is that Merlino had a syringe filled with a lethal dose of cyanide. He plunged it into her upper leg, effectively poisoning her. He then ran off as she seemed to be left in a state of shock and panic. Tran managed to call 911, but within 15 minutes was unconscious. She was rushed to the hospital, but 4 hours later was declared as brain dead. The next day, she was taken off life support. When brought in for questioning, Merlino first claimed he had been hundreds of miles away visiting family at the time of Tran's murder. His phone pinged at towers in the area, but there had been no activity, no calls or messages, suggesting he may have simply left it there to support a false alibi. In January of 2017, Merlino reportedly went to a pizza joint every single day. While there, a coworker recalls him receiving a package at the pizza shop. In fact, on January 24th, Merlino's internet history showed that he had looked up how many milligrams of cyanide will kill you, as well as what if cyanide gets injected. He had also ordered a steel syringe via Etsy, which was in the package he received. Merlino denied he had made the searches online and claimed that it was the computer of his cell phone repair business, and half a dozen people had access to it. Once he was jailed and awaiting trial, Merlino went on a 2-month hunger strike and lost 40 pounds.
Damn!
The police believe this was a ploy to look different than he did in the security camera footage.
What's good,
Additionally,
Jordan?
they believed he wore a reflective shirt in order to cause a glare in the camera to make his identification more difficult. Merlino had already found another girlfriend and wrote coded letters from jail to try to get her to lie for him. The intercepted letters seemed to say that he wanted his girlfriend to create a fake chat history and claim they'd been video calling in order to give him an alibi. Finally, Merlino was found guilty of his crime and was sentenced to life in prison.
Thank you.
To complete the grimness of the situation, when brought to sentencing, Merlino was foaming at the mouth and unresponsive.
Oh, never mind.
Doctors said it could have been stress-induced, while the prosecution
he going ham.
It was an act.
He beating it.
Merlino blamed his lawyers for his sentence and claimed he'd appeal. As of now, there is no record of it, and he's still right where he belongs, in prison.
Alright, man. Just like Mr. Ballin told us, assault the like button. Man, what's up, Texas sports? That's crazy, man. This is why I don't care how many people say they hate guns, man. This is exactly why you need a concealed carry license or some open carry, whatever it may be. Because the first time he missed, that would have been a perfect time to her just pull out. Bow, bow, bow. I'm not going to let you get the chance to stick me with the needle, stupid. But unfortunately, he got her the second time and ran off. But she did the right thing about calling the police. But I didn't know cyanide acts that fast. In 15 minutes, she was unconscious. So it takes them about... Usually, it takes them about 5 to 7 minutes to get there in the first place. So about time you get there, and then you still got to go to the hospital. So it's just like, yeah, I thought she was going to make it. I thought she would have had it, but they took her off life support, and then she died. But yeah, man, if she would have blasted him, he would have been done. And then the fact is, that just shows you that he could have got another girlfriend the whole time, but instead he felt salty and he killed the girl. Like, if you knew you can get somebody else, why even stick around and kill that person and then set yourself up for life in jail or life in prison, whatever you want to call it, and then just find somebody else? Is that really that hard? I never understood why people break up and then kill somebody Like, bro, it's a million other people that's willing to talk to you. You don't have to kill that one person. That's crazy. Man. That's crazy, dude. Oh, Stephen Griffiths. Hey, you know this person, Jordan, or not? But man, let me know what you guys think about that when people do that kind of stuff. Because that's, man, they daughter, too. Now you just left the daughter without a mom or a dad. You idiot, man. People are dummies. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man.
Stephen Griffiths is a 49-year-old man who was born in Yorkshire, England. Griffiths began his criminal behavior as a young teenager, starting with minor offenses like shoplifting, which rather quickly progressed into violent behavior with knives. At the young age of 17, he was sentenced to 3 years in youth custody after cutting an employee's face with a knife. He even admitted to his probation officers that he fantasized about becoming a serial killer. Fast forward to 1990, Griffiths was again in legal trouble as he had held a knife to a girl's throat. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Griffiths developed an unhealthy interest in serial killers and began collecting books focused on violent crime. The negative impact of his killer fixation reached a high when he invited his then-girlfriend to his apartment, and she found it entirely covered in plastic. That relationship swiftly ended, like many others did as well, due to his abusive behavior and his tendency to stalk. To continue his downward spiral, in 2001, Griffiths began to drink heavily as well as take drugs. After completing his bachelor's in psychology, Griffiths began his PhD program at the University of Bradford. During his program, being unemployed, Griffiths spent a large portion of his time online. He also began downloading hardcore violent pornography, most likely to help quell his urges. However, in 2000...
What is considered violent pornography? What is considered violent? I've never, okay.
9, all the red flags that had come up along the way and had coiled around him so tightly began to unfurl. Griffiths gave in to his wanting to kill and began preying on prostitutes in his area of Bradford. It's alleged that Griffiths killed in that specific area in order to pay tribute to a killer named Peter Sutcliffe,
I never heard of
who
him.
had also killed in that area. It's important to note that Griffiths not only looked up to a murderer, but Sutcliffe was also known for prowling in the red light district because he liked the vulnerability of prostitutes. On June 22, 2009, Griffiths took Susan Rushworth, a prostitute, back to his apartment. He killed her and then dismembered her in his bathtub. His next victim was in April of 2010, named Shelley Armitage, a 31-year-old who was also a sex worker. His last victim was Suzanne Blamires.
She looks scary.
Blamires was 36 and had attempted to escape the fate his other victims had endured. Unfortunately, as recorded on the CCTV camera that had been specifically installed to monitor Griffiths himself, Blamires was shot fatally with a crossbow and also stabbed. This footage would be critical in his arrest and conviction. It's alarming to see how blasé Griffiths seems, walking up to the camera with continued eye contact. His middle finger to the camera almost seems like a taunt, a mixture of showing his lack of remorse along with a carefree mindset. It's especially jarring because if someone only saw the middle finger instance, there would be no indication he had just violently ended someone's life. When in court, Griffiths referred to himself as the crossbow cannibal, as he allegedly consumed parts of his victims. Griffiths pled guilty to all 3 murders.
The crazy thing is, I heard that human meat resembles that of pork. I don't know if that's true or not, but many serial killers have said, or cannibals, serial killers have said that human meat resembles pork. So, next time you guys go and have your little pork sandwiches or whatever, you never know. It might be human, it might not be human. Who knows? Alright, let's see what we got here. Anything you guys talking about? But yeah, imitator, to go back what you said it's mostly the bad parenting that makes people do things like that at a young age. Do you think it's the parents, or do you think it's the people that they hang around with, or do you think it's the social media? Because majority of the times, if you think about it, parents are not around their kids as often as their friends and other things are, like TV and all that other stuff. Because I know when I grew up, I was around my mom not even most of the day, only like when I got out of school, and even then I stayed home for like an hour, and then after I was done with homework I went outside again and then came back again when it was time for me to go to sleep or go to bed or whatnot. So I really didn't spend too much time around my mom during those days. So I think I picked up most of my habits around friends or the stuff that I seen on TV, me personally. I don't know if everyone else can agree with that or not, but it's good to see that you having a certain opinion about the situations and stuff of the videos. So I don't know. Is it just me, or are male serial killers' motivations most often to do with sex, while for female serial killers the motivation have to do with romance, or am I just misinformed? I wouldn't say that. I'll probably say a majority of males serial killers are more focused on women, and I wouldn't say much as sex, but they always have a reason for targeting prostitutes for some reason, or sex workers, or anybody that has like any women that's like vulnerable, pretty much. Why that is, I don't know. But there's also some women killers that just kill men just to kill them. I forgot the one lady name. She was a highway killer. She killed men that gave her rides home. Like, she'd be like, hey, I need a ride home, and then she would just kill them just to kill them. Some women serial killers just didn't like men, and some women killed out of emotional reasons, love reasons, like you said, and that's usually how it goes. But I don't know. Let's keep it going.
And is currently serving life in prison. He has tried to end his life multiple times since his incarceration.
Don't try to
It
end your
always
life now.
feels somewhat like a surreal experience to witness devastating moments of people's lives on camera. We're so used to taking photos and videos of moments that are significant and that we want to remember forever, yet here we've witnessed footage that's unforgettable in different ways. In the end, the least we can hope for is that this footage brings truth and ideally justice. If you have any information regarding the murder of Missy Bevers, you are urged to contact the Ellis County tip line at 972-775-7624. There is a $50,000 reward for any information leading to an arrest and indictment.
Oh, wait a minute. Remember him? Missy Bevers, man. Rest in peace to Missy Bevers. I think it was her dad, too. And Ellie Tran, because the dude was all jelly, little weirdo, man. And Susan Rushworth. Rest in peace. Shelly Armitage. Suzanne Blamers. Rest in peace to her, too. Dang, man. That's unfortunate, bruh. That's crazy. Whew. Alright, we're going on to the next video. Wow. Alright, let me see. Man. But yeah, that's crazy. When you start to realize how people will kill over the smallest things, over you saying no, over you denying them their phone number, or you not wanting to hang out with people, or you like not being interested to do anything, or just to try, like, it's crazy that people will kill. I've seen people, or read on the news, people kill somebody for their order taking too long. Since when does a McDouble or anything not of value just become a reason to kill somebody. I remember back then you could just fight and it is like, you know what? You fought, you good with me, we cool, we got no more beef, going about our business. Nowadays, if you cut somebody off in traffic, you forget to use a blinker, if you beep or something, you risk the chance of being shot or killed or some stabbed or something, man. It's insane. Play my vid. I'm not going to... What vid? What are you talking about? Sex workers fall under the category of the less dead. Do they really? Play Haram. I'm not about to play Harambe's video. Alright, this video is called Disturbing Photos from Around the Internet. This video is by Nightmare Foul, so if you guys haven't already, be sure to swoop down to the description box, call the link, and go watch the video to the entirety. You want me pausing and stopping and talking through the whole thing. Yo, this dude is really good content creator as well. I forgot who told me about this channel, but he's really, really, really good and underrated. So hopefully he continues to blow up and people recognize more of his content, because he's a really, really good content creator. But for now, let's get it. Let's go. Feel free to stop. I mean, feel free to ask questions throughout the video. If you guys have an opinion, feel free to let it know. As long as it's not like anything bad or offensive to anyone, then feel free to say it.
Nightmare Files.
Creepy photos, terrifying backgrounds. Photo 1. They said the photos are going to be at the end of the stories.
Hiking isn't bad weather, getting lost in remote areas, depending on your GPS and not knowing the areas, crossing water, being fatigued, and for me, the threat of territorial animals can be the biggest threat. But without those obstacles, the experience can be euphoric and relaxing. But for Darsh Patel, it was tragic. In 2014, Darsh Patel, a 22-year-old student of Rutgers University, went hiking in an Abshaba Preserve in New Jersey with 4 of his friends. While exploring the 576-acre natural area, the group came across a black bear. They stopped and took pictures of the 300-pound beast with their cell phones.
300 pounds?
After taking the photos, the group started to walk away, but the bear had noticed them, and it started walking towards them. Frightened by the approaching bear, the 5 friends split up and ran in different directions, but the bear kept chasing them. When the 4 of them regrouped after some time, they noticed that Patel was missing, so they called the police. Upon arrival, the police searched the area, and after 2 hours they discovered Patel's body. The bear was lingering around the body and was shot dead by one of the officers. An autopsy of the bear revealed that it ingested human blood and tissue along with clothing, and it also had human blood on its paws. A few weeks later, the police released 6 photos that Patel had taken on his phone. The photos show of the bear approaching closer and closer.
Oh my goodness.
It eventually chased him and mauled him as he was trying to run away. It is said that if you encounter a black bear, remain calm, avoid direct eye contact.
Yep.
Make the bear aware that you are not afraid by making loud noises and speaking assertively, and to make sure that the bear has an obvious escape route so it doesn't feel as if it's backed into a corner.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm probably not going to remember any of that stuff. I know it's supposed to work, but to be honest, I'm not going to remember all those steps in order to avoid a black or brown or grizzly bear or whatever it may be. Like, I'm not going to remember that. It's just going to be like, oh shit, it's a 300-pound killing machine in front of me. And knowing me, my first thing to either do is going to be to freeze where I'm standing, or I'm going to take off running. Either way, I'm going to die, because I'm not going to remember any of this unless I got the thing on me, and I'm going to take it out, boom, boom, and light them up. But other than that, yeah, I don't know what else to do besides that. Just at that time, I'm just going to tell Jesus to take the wheel, and I'm just going to be heading up that way, because there's nothing else I can do at this point. Which is the best bear? Grizzly. Yeah, I would probably say a grizzly too. Black bear. I would faint. Yeah, probably. Took a picture of his own murderer. Own death. That's crazy. Black bears can climb. Can they? I thought all bears can climb. I didn't know that. You just schooled me today. Photo 2.
On June 23, 2018, 12 members of a junior football team and their 25-year-old assistant coach went on a trip to a cave in Thailand. Shortly after they entered the cave, heavy rains partially flooded the cave and blocked the way out. Strong currents and rising water levels hampered efforts to locate the group.
What are you doing in caves?
And they had no contact with the outside world for a week. Actually, over a week. Eventually, rescue operations began.
That's beautiful.
It involved a massive team consisting of over 10,000 people.
10,000?
More than 100 divers, 900 police officers, scores of rescue workers, 2,000 soldiers, and representatives of around 100 government agencies were involved. Soon after rescue operations started, maintaining air supply became the #1 priority. Hundreds of rescue workers were present inside the cave, which depleted oxygen inside the chambers down to 15%. In the air, the normal oxygen level tends to be around 21%.
That
is why divers had to make several trips in and out of the cave to supply oxygen tanks.
Yeah, they're gone.
This is the last photo of Thai diver Saman Kunan, who died while performing rescue operations in the cave in 2018.
Rest in peace.
While supplying oxygen tanks to the group trapped inside the cave, Kunan lost consciousness underwater and died of asphyxiation.
That's crazy. Going in there to save somebody else and then you die too. Dang, man. Whatever happened to just going to theme parks? Just go to Disneyland or somewhere. Go to AMC. Go watch a movie, Netflix, anything, bro. Go a bonfire. Why are you going inside of a cave? Oh my God. This is killing me, Smalls.
David Alexander Johnston, an American volcanologist, was the principal scientist
All right, thick
on the
boy.
United States Geological Survey.
Thanks for stopping by.
His career took him all over the United States, where he studied various volcanoes. As a talented and meticulous scientist, Johnston was known for his analysis of volcanic gases and their relationships to eruptions. His positive attitude and enthusiasm made his co-workers love and respect him. Johnston once famously told reporters that being on Mount St. Helens was akin to standing next to a dynamite keg and the fuse is lit. He was also one of the first volcanologists to arrive at the scene when signs of eruption first appeared.
Volcanologist.
Shortly after his arrival, he was made the head of volcanic gas monitoring. In the months leading up to the eruption, Johnston and co-workers saved thousands of lives by preventing people from going near the volcano. They sealed off the area despite facing tremendous pressure to reopen it. A number of the USGS scientists were part of the team that monitored the volcano. For over 2 weeks before the eruption, graduate student Harry Glicken was manning the Coldwater 2 observation post, and he was supposed to be relieved by a geologist named Don Swanson the evening before the eruption. However, for some reason, Swanson could not make it and asked Johnston to take his place, and he agreed. While manning the Coldwater post, Johnston's main role was to observe the volcano and note further signs of an eruption. Before leaving the post on May 17th, around 13 hours before the eruption, Harry Glickman took the famous photograph that we see here. Johnston was sitting beside the observation post trailer with his notebook smiling. The next morning, on May 18th around 8:32 a.m., the volcano erupted. Johnston was the first person to report the eruption, and he was able to make one last radio transmission saying, "Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it," before being swept away by a lateral blast. This is the last photo of David Johnston, taken 13 hours before the eruption at Mount St. Helens.
Man.
His last words, as we said, was
Vancouver,
Vancouver, this is it, before going silent. His body was never found,
I bet it wasn't. It probably disintegrated them. That's crazy. A volcano. Whew, man. Who said something? Yo, what's up, Stripe? How you doing? I've seen that picture. Have you, Texas? Man, this is scary, dude. This is kind of, man, this is crazy how life could just be cut short at any
As
moment.
we all know, Niagara Falls is a tourist attraction
Oh
known
my
all
gosh.
around the world.
Look at that water.
It also had its fair share of deaths. From Sam Patch in 1829, Ed Delahanty in 1903, Charles Stevens in 1920, George Tastakis in 1930, William Hill in 1951,
Let's keep going.
James Honeycutt in 1960, Hashan Sehi in 1981, Jesse Sharp in 1990, Robert Overacker in 1995, and the woman we'll be talking about today, Ayano Takumasu. In 2011,
Whew.
authorities recovered the body of a woman from the Niagara River. She was later identified as Ayano Takumasu, a 20-year-old international student from Japan.
Oh,
While visiting Niagara Falls with friends, Takumasu climbed over a railing to pose for a picture. She was straddling the railing to look at the falls, and when she stood up, she lost her footing and fell into the river 25 meters upstream from the brink of the falls. Moments before the tragic incident occurred, an Ontario-based couple was also taking pictures of themselves, and they captured what is thought to be the final moments of Takumasu. In the photo, she could be seen in the background. She's wearing a red sweater and appears to be standing on the top of the rock barrier. The picture does not show whether she's standing on the railing or not. This incident was also captured on CCTV along with the recovery of her body caught on camera.
oh my goodness. It's over there. Oh no. Jesus. That sweater just sticks out. It's kind of like that sweater from Schindler's List when the little girl had the red jacket on. Man, that's crazy, bro. Like, it's unfortunate, don't get me wrong, but that's just death by stupidity at this point. Like, all that railing, and you gotta get even closer over the, like, why you gotta go over the railing to get just take a picture next to the railing. You're there. You being over the railing is not going to make you more there. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I was to take a picture next to Obama, like, I'm on this side, I mean, I can get a little bit closer, but at the same time, I'm right next to him. I don't have to be right up on him to get a picture, or whoever it may be. If it's Tupac, Biggie, it don't matter, man. Now, just stop doing stupid stuff, people. That's all I have to say. Just cut it out. Stop the madness, man. Just don't do that. Don't be like, oh, I'm at Six Flags. I'm going to stand on the roller coaster track and get a picture of Goliath. Well, you can just get on Goliath and take a picture. Why would you stand on the tracks? Man, these videos be killing me, man. Did you know flies kill more people than sharks? Boy, Texas, is that a real thing? I don't know what to believe anymore, man. This world is all kind of messed up. I see the channel growing. Yeah, we doing right. We doing all right. Not bad. We're doing all right. We want to keep going. Get that road to 5K, man. I think we can make it by the end of this year. We're doing good. We started at 700 and... Where was that, 700 in November? Or was it December? And now we're at 1,006. We almost doubled. So, let's keep going, y'all. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
On August 20th, 1989, Lyle and Eric Menendez walked into the den of their parents' Beverly Hills home with a Mossberg 12-gauge shotgun.
I've heard about them.
Jose and Kitty Menendez were sitting on the couch. Then Jose was shot. Awakened by the shots, Kitty Menendez got up from the couch and ran toward the hallway. She was shot in the leg, which caused her to slip on her own blood and fall. She was then shot several more times. Both the parents were also shot in the kneecaps to make it look like they had been murdered in connection with an organized crime. Later that night, Lyle Menendez called 911 and screamed, "Someone killed my parents." When the police arrived, their brothers told them that they had gone to the movies and then to the festival at the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium. The police did not suspect them, and they never asked them to go through a gunshot residue test to find out if they had used a firearm recently.
Bad
If there was
policing.
little evidence against the brothers, the police failed to look more thoroughly into them.
Always do.
In the months following the murders, the brothers began spending their parents' insurance money lavishly. Lyle bought a Porsche, a Rolex watch, and a restaurant. His brother Eric hired a full-time tennis coach and participated in a number of tournaments in Israel.
Remember when I tell you guys, only the stupid people get caught? Exhibit A and B. Two big dummies. They didn't suspect you, and what do? You go and start spending your parents' money that you just killed, and you buy a Porsche, a restaurant, and a Rolex watch. Like, people are dumb. Oh my gosh. This is insane. You're already off the radar, and you go and put yourself on the radar. You couldn't wait a year or 2 years. You're gonna go and do all that.
Eventually, they left the family mansion and decided to live in condos in Marina Del Rey.
Marina
They
Del
drove around
Rey.
the town in their dead mother's Mercedes-Benz, went on several trips overseas, and dined in expensive restaurants. Experts say that they spent around $700,000 in the time between the murders and their arrest. At one point, the brothers had attended a basketball game and were photographed. They are believed to be in the background of the 1990-91 NBA trading card of basketball player Mark Jackson.
How can you live with yourself and go enjoy a basketball game knowing that you just killed the two people that raised you? That's crazy. Can you imagine raising somebody and that person kills you? You just gave birth to your death. Think about that. Gave birth to your own killers. That's why you gotta be careful when you have your kids, man. These days, you take the game from them, they ready to kill somebody. Take Fortnite from them, they gonna shoot you. I don't play some Fortnite. Not today. They'll be like, start shooting people. That's crazy. Yo, I wonder how much that card is worth. I'm about to look that up. Well, y'all, that was Nightmare Files. And that was the last video we had for the night. But I think since you guys have been supporting me and doing so well, I'll probably hook you guys up with a little something. Hook you guys up with a little bit of a surprise, you know. I'll hook you guys up right now. Don't worry about it. I got you guys. Don't even worry about it. Alright? If you guys believe in me, which you should, then you guys should be alright. You guys should be A-okay. Hold on just a moment. I hope and pray that you guys are going to enjoy this.
Today's topic.
I don't think you guys are ready for this one. I don't think you guys are ready. I'm about to let you guys sit out the rest of your day with a smile on your face, because that's how much I care about you guys. Alright? That's how much I care. Just remember I said that. I care about you guys so much. Yo, this is Mihail. Mihail, how are you doing? Welcome. I hope you guys are ready. Oh, you guys are about to be hyped. Oh my goodness. Well, some of you might be. Not all of you, but some of you will. Alright. Here we go. Who's ready? I gotta get like 3 readies in the chat before I start it.
Today's top.
I gotta get 3 readies. I gotta get 3 of them. You ready? Alright. Here it goes. That's us two. Ready? Alright. Ready? Alright, here we go. This video is called Top 3 Stories That Sound Fake But Are 100% Real. And let me tell you guys something. If you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered as story format, then this is the guy that you want to watch. So if you guys haven't already, be sure you swoop down to the description box, click on the link, go watch the video, see the entirety while me pausing and stopping and talking through the whole thing. Let's get it.
Today's top story
Uh-oh. Hold on, wait. Hold on, wait a minute.
is so wildly improbable that if there wasn't footage, nobody would believe it happened. Luckily, I've included the footage. But before we get into today's story,
if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you come to the right channel because that's all we do. We upload 3 or 4 times every week.
So if that's of interest to you, please sneak into the like button's house and steal all of their sweatpants strings. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications.
I think you guys forgot.
Our weekly uploads.
I think you guys forgot.
Let's get into today's story.
I think you guys forgot. Let's go! Number 3, Doctor Who.
In 1974, Jean-Claude Romand enrolled in medical school in Lyon, France. He was a model student who excelled despite the notoriously brutal course load. In 1980, he married his girlfriend, and shortly after that, they had 2 kids, a boy and a girl. In 1983, he officially became a doctor and landed a great job as a researcher at the World Health Organization in Geneva. His focus was on finding new medicines to treat arteriosclerosis, also known as heart disease. His wife would proudly tell her friends that her husband was a super doctor who worked quietly in a neon-lit lab in Geneva to develop all these incredible treatments. From the outside looking in, Jean-Claude's life looked perfect, but looks can be deceiving. In the early morning hours of Monday, January 11th, 1993, Jean-Claude's best friend, Luc, received a call informing him there had been a terrible accident. In the night, a boiler had caught fire inside of Jean-Claude's house, killing his wife and his children. Jean-Claude had barely escaped alive, but when he got to the hospital, he had slipped into a coma. The 2 men had been friends for nearly 20 years. They were both doctors, they both got married at almost the exact same time, their kids had grown up together, and now Jean-Claude's family had been completely destroyed. Later that day, when Luc arrived at the hospital to see his friend, he was met with 2 policemen standing outside of his room, barring anyone from going inside. And when they realized Luc was his best friend, the policeman said, "Hey, can we actually pull you aside and talk to you about Jean-Claude?" And so Luc was confused, but he walked over and sat at a table with the 2 officers, and they proceeded to tell him that the fire that had killed Jean-Claude's family had not been an accident, and Jean-Claude was not a doctor. Jean-Claude had enrolled in medical school in Lyon back in the 1970s, but he failed to show up for his first-year exam, and without passing that exam, you can't advance in medical school, and so the school allowed him to retake the year, and so Jean-Claude did that for 12 consecutive years. All the while, he told his friends and family that he was following normal medical studies, and eventually he told them he had become a doctor. Instead of going to Geneva to discover new medicines for heart disease, Jean-Claude would drive around the border area between France and Switzerland and periodically go to the World Health Organization's Public Information Center and would just walk around the lobby and read pamphlets before going home again. When Jean-Claude went on overseas business trips, he would actually just leave his house, hop on the highway, and stop at a motel, stay there for a couple of days, and then return with gifts.
For 12 years? Do you know how dedicated and motivated you have to be to do that for 12 years? You could have been a doctor, really, during that whole time. 12 years of reading pamphlets and stopping at motels. That's crazy, man. That's a whole different kind of determination, motivation than I've ever seen in my life. A super doctor. 12 years of pretending to be something you're not. Do you know what you could have done in 12 years, bro? That was like, he sat and did that for a whole school year. That's from elementary to high school. He knocked out all those grades, man, for 12 years. How did he do it? I don't know. He didn't have no paperwork or anything. How did they believe him? Where was he getting the money from? Because doctors make bank. So if you was doing that for 12 years, I don't know. I don't know.
He lived off money from the sale of his student apartment
go.
in Lyon that his parents had bought for him. When the money ran out, he asked his friends and family to give him their life savings so he could invest them into these schemes that he knew about because he was a UN employee. And because he's this very successful, reputable doctor, people agreed and gave him their money. But by late 1992, some of his victims were asking for their money, and he didn't have it. And so some of these people began doing some research on Jean-Claude, and they found his name was not listed on the World Health Organization's staff list. By January of 1993, Jean-Claude knew it was only a matter of time before he was exposed. And to this point, he has been living this lie for almost 20 years. His wife, his kids, his friends, his parents, everybody, he has told that he's this successful doctor, and that's all about to come crashing down. And the way he handles it is he drives to his parents' house, and he kills his parents and their dog, and then drives back to his house and kills his family, takes sleeping pills, and then lights the house on fire. But firefighters were able to get to him and pull him out before he could take his own life. And so after he regained his strength, he was taken into custody and he made a confession. He was convicted of murder in 1996 and given a life sentence. But in 2015, he became eligible for parole, and in 2019, he was released.
What? Oh my god, I'm about to throw the whole computer, bro. I'm about to throw the whole set just out the window. Like, how do people like this just... How do people like this keep getting out of jail, bro? Is it me? Or do the bad killers just keep getting out of jail, bro? Every video we seen, the TikTok one, they were like, oh, he's got manslaughter. Oh, he got this, he got that. How are you still, how? You got replicating or impersonating a doctor or a medical professional. You got, like, pretty much taking people's money. I don't know what they call that. And then you got arson. You burned down the house. You killed your parents. And you lied about what? Oh my god. And then you tried to kill yourself. And then they let him out. How does that even work? What state is this? Oh my goodness. That's crazy. So he's out living his best life right now. The people didn't get his money back and his parents are dead. I'm done with this, bruh. That's crazy. What's going on? What's up, Luca, man? Oh,
on September 6, 2006, 51-year-old Susan Kuhnhausen was returning from her job as an emergency room nurse in Portland, Oregon. On the way, she stopped at a hair salon to get her hair dyed. While she waited her turn, she picked up a magazine and a particular quote stood out to her. It said, "I will not live an unlived life. I will not live in fear." At the time, Susan was fighting with her husband, Mike. They had been married for nearly 18 years, and their marriage had become toxic. And Susan had finally gotten the courage up to tell Mike she wanted a divorce. And Mike did not want a divorce. And so they had these bitter, awful fights, and Susan was just looking for things to latch onto, and this type of quote gave her motivation to follow through with this very difficult decision. About an hour later, with her hair now a slightly different color brown, she hopped back in her car and drove the last couple of miles home to her quiet little neighborhood. She pulled into the driveway of her one-story Cape Cod home with their gray picket fence around it. She went in the back door into their mudroom, and right away she saw a note next to the microwave that her husband had left, because at this time they were still living together. And the note just said, "Sue, I've had trouble sleeping. I've gone to the beach. I'll see you in a couple of days." She put the note down and then unlocked the door that led into the house, which was into the kitchen. And as soon as the door opened up, she heard the beeping sound of their security alarm. And then she walked all the way through the house to the front door. She unlocked it, went outside, and then checked their mail, and then went back inside the house. After she got back inside and had shut and locked the front door behind her, she kicked off her shoes and then began walking across the house towards the kitchen. She got about halfway there when she looked over to her left, and she noticed the first floor bedroom that they used as a guest room was really dark. And every morning before she left for work, she would open all the curtains around the house. And so in the evening, the sun would come into the house and it would be nice and bright. And so she's thinking to herself, did I forget to open the curtains in that room? Because it shouldn't be that dark.
I hate you, Texas.
And as she's staring at the room, a man she didn't recognize walked out from behind the bedroom door and started walking towards her. He was medium height, medium build. He had a hat pulled down over his eyes. He had yellow rubber gloves on, and he was holding a hammer.
It's her
husband. He
husband.
began walking right towards her. For many people, the sight of a stranger inside of your home carrying a hammer would be enough to prompt you to turn around and run out of your house.
Absolutely.
But not Sue. She had been an emergency room nurse for the past 30 years. And in that time, she had done things like crack open people's ribs to massage their hearts. She had administered IVs and thrashing patients that were suffering from withdrawals. And she and the other nurses she worked with trained regularly in self-defense, because you just never knew what was going to happen in the ER. You needed to be ready to slip chokeholds and defend yourself. And so here Sue was, staring down this intruder in her house with 30 years of preparation for this moment. And so Sue ran at this guy faster than he was coming at her, and it caught him off guard. She figured if she could just get up close to him, the power of the hammer strikes would be less. And so she rams into him, and she's about 5'5" and significantly outweighs him.
There we go.
He's about 5'9", maybe 200 pounds. And so she rams him into the wall. He hits her in the head once with the hammer, but it wasn't enough to subdue her or even knock her down. She barely felt it. And so she's holding on to him, and she's screaming at him, "Who are you? What do you want?"
Whip his ass.
Because there was a part of her that thought, this is a burglary. I'll just give you what you want. But the guy didn't say anything. And so Susan grabbed him and pushed even harder against the wall, and the man would say 2 words. It was the only 2 words he said the entire time. And it was, "You're strong." And Susan, when she heard that, it was like an adrenaline rush. She knew this guy was not trying to rob her. He was just trying to kill her. And she thought, no, I'm going to live. And she managed to wrestle the hammer away from him while pinning him against the wall.
Damn.
And smashed him in the head 3 times with this hammer before he managed to get it back. But when he reached for the hammer, she grabbed his throat and began choking the life out of him. The man immediately went for his throat to get her hand off of him, so he was not trying to attack her. And Susan realized that she had him on the defensive, and she grabbed tighter and tighter around his throat. She moved her other hand up and really started crushing his windpipe. And then she screamed at him, "I'll call an ambulance if you tell me who sent you." And the man looked at her and just grunted at her. And so she continued to squeeze harder and harder until his face turned purple and his eyes rolled back. And she knew, as an emergency room nurse, if she continued, she would kill him. And she wasn't really prepared to do that. And so she threw him to the ground. She turned and began to run towards the front door. But this guy jumped up and leapt after her, grabbed her by the ankle, and tripped her to the ground.
What kind of WWF match is this? It sounds like that new Godzilla King Kong movie. Damn, Granny got strength. She choked him and snatched the hat. Bruh, even if I was the robber and I came into the house and I was like, yeah, you about to get it now, and she charged after me, I think I would run. Because I'll be like, yo, wait a minute now, why is she running towards me? I came into the wrong house. She choked this dude, 5'5". Don't 5'5", bro. She's not that big. This dude is bigger than she is. She reaches up with one hand and starts to choke the life out of him. And she's so strong that he even forgets about the hammer. And he starts reaching for his neck to get air. Bruh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they need to make a movie out of this. Because this is outrageous, bro. Dude, this is some Hulk or some bull. Exactly, man. Susan is not playing, bro. This gotta be Kimball Slice reincarnated or something, bruh. Or David Goggins' grandma. It gotta be something. Yes, this is outrageous. I want to see what happens next.
When she landed, she rolled over onto her back, and right on top of her is this guy wielding the hammer, and he's about to bring it down on her. And so she instinctively just shot up. She sat up as fast as she could, and she bit down as hard as she could on the inner part of his upper leg. She bit so hard she tore through the fabric. And the guy screamed out in pain. He couldn't even hit her with the hammer. He began staggering back, at which point she released the bite, got up onto a knee, and then bit him again on the side of his rib cage as hard as she could, once again tearing through the fabric. And so now this guy is howling at the top of his lungs, at which point Sue grabs him and throws him to the ground, but she falls with him, and she lands directly behind his back.
She is
and
whooping
he's still
his
trying
ass.
to grab her, and he's got the hammer, and he's trying to hit her, and so she reaches out and puts her arm over his throat and puts him in a wicked chokehold, one that he was not getting out of. And so the guy is trying to fight and get his neck out of the chokehold, but Susan decided that this guy, he's not going to talk, he's not going to tell me what he
Kill
wants.
him.
He's here to kill me, so I'm going to kill him first. And she proceeded to choke him to death. And once he stopped moving, she calmly stood up, looked down, knew he was dead. She grabbed his hammer and then calmly walked out the front door, walked to her neighbor's house, knocked on the door, and then her neighbor comes up and sees Sue just standing there with her clothes tattered and she's all bruised and bloodied, but she looks like she's totally okay. And the neighbor asks Sue, what are you doing? What's going on? Why do you have that hammer? And Sue would tell her that, well, I had an intruder and he tried to kill me, so I killed him. And I need to use your phone to call the police. And so her neighbor's like, okay, come on in and use my phone. And so Sue walks in with her hammer in hand and calmly calls the police and tells them what happened. Police and paramedics show up and they go inside of Sue's house and they confirm that her attacker was in fact dead. and her attacker turned out to be 59-year-old Ed Haffey, who was a Vietnam veteran with a long rap sheet. They discovered Ed's backpack inside of Susan's house, and in it was a notebook that contained instructions for what to do after he killed Susan. And one of those instructions was to call Mike. It turns out this Mike was Susan's husband. He had paid Ed $50,000 to kill his wife. And Mike, earlier in the day, had gone to the house and allowed Ed in and told him where to go and where to wait. And then on his way out, he had written that note saying, "I'll see you in a couple of days." When police brought Mike in, he initially denied all charges and said he had nothing to do with this. But he would eventually confess and then would be sentenced to 7 years in prison for soliciting to murder his wife. Although Mike never gave his exact motivations for why he actually did this, he would have been ruined financially during this divorce. But if Susan were to die, he would inherit the house. Immediately after his sentencing, Susan sued Mike for $1 million, claiming she wanted to make sure he didn't have any more money so that he couldn't go hire another hitman to finish the job.
Hey, that's
Susan
smart.
didn't have to worry for very long, though, because Mike would die shortly thereafter in prison. As for Susan, she never faced any criminal charges and, in fact, was hailed as a hero in the wake of the attack.
Bro, for those of you that attended this live stream, or those of you that may watch this afterwards, after it's finished, man, when I say be like Susan, this is what I'm referring to, man. Be like Susan. Hashtag be like Susan, man. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine being a veteran, serving all that time, going through gunfire and shooting and blood and all that stuff, and you get choked out by a 5'5" nurse that weighs half of what you weigh, bro? Can you imagine that? Adrenaline is a son of a gun, man. I'm telling you, bro. Adrenaline have you doing some stuff that you've never seen before. I would have never thought that was going to happen. That story, if someone told you that story, you'd be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, right. Yeah, sure she did. Yeah, okay. But my first red flag was, he was like, I'm having trouble sleeping. I'm going to go to the beach. Why would you go to the beach? Like, that's even louder, is it not? Like, kids playing, the waves and stuff may be common, but it's hot. Birds chirping and seagulls flying, like that doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, I think I would have kind of caught on to that. Like, why would you go to the beach out of all places? Like, maybe the library is quiet, or maybe I got a hotel room, or just maybe pick a different room in a house and just tell her to be quiet. Why would you have to leave the whole house to go get some rest? That just doesn't make any sense to me. Would you say I'm the worst in scary situations? I would trip, then becomes the human sacrifice. John Wick 5. It's a Home Alone shooter. She would destroy John Cena. I'm convinced that she's the only person that can see John Cena at this point. John Wick and Rambo Holt is what she is. Yeah, bro. She's a mixture of everything. She ate her veggies as a kid, man, and twice on Sundays. She didn't miss a veggie meal at all. Broccoli, cabbage, all that, man. She ate it dry, too. No seasoning, nothing, bro. She ate her spinach, bro. Popeye cans, all that. She used to crack the spinach open with one hand. I'll tell you what. I don't need a bodyguard. I don't need a gun. Just get me Suzanne, man. Suzanne, if you're watching this, man, it's good on you. You gotta give us some classes. Give us some survival classes right now. That's Suzanne Sensei right now. Be like Suzanne. Don't forget, it's an insider for those that may not watch.
Better known as Bebo by his friends and family, was born in 1989 in Key West, Florida, but at the age of 7, he moved to Wasilla, Alaska. He was a standout athlete at Wasilla High School, competing in football and in track and field. After graduating in 2008, he moved to Coos Bay, Oregon, where he briefly attended a community college. While he was there, he met a woman named Hannah Strassner, and in 2011, they got married. And shortly after that, they opened a bakery that they would run together for 3 years. Hannah, who had gone to culinary school, was very detail-oriented and ran the show at the bakery. Bebo, on the other hand, was not professionally trained and was much more laid back and interested in experimenting with new and wild recipes. In 2015, with heavy hearts, they decided to sell the bakery so they could move to Seattle and be closer to Hannah's family. Once they arrived there, Bebo got a job at the SeaTac airport as a ground service agent for Horizons Airline. It was not a job he necessarily wanted, but they needed the cash. After working at Horizons Air for 4 years as a ramper, someone that moves the luggage in and out of the aircraft,
that must be
Bebo
nice.
was given some additional responsibility. They asked him to be on a 2-person tow team. A tow team is in charge of moving airplanes around in between their flights. And so the way this works is one person goes down and drives the actual tow vehicle and hooks that up to the airplane and begins moving it around, and the other person would go up into the cockpit, turn the plane on, and then work a couple of very basic systems to help get the plane to go where it needs to go. The members of a tow team are one of the very few number of people that are allowed to go into the cockpit of an aircraft by themselves. And so Bebo really relished this opportunity, and when he was up there, he found himself fascinated with all the controls, and any chance he got, he would ask a pilot, if they were inside of the aircraft, to teach him what some of these controls were. But one time, Bebo was flipping some of the switches in the cockpit that he was not supposed to touch, that other pilots had told him about. And the pilot of this particular plane caught him doing it, took exception to it, and reported him. But surprisingly, there were no repercussions. It was just really embarrassing for Bebo. Like many of the other ground service agents working at Horizon Airlines, Bebo was generally unhappy with his job. He felt like it was boring, that there wasn't much upward mobility.
I think working at I think that's an easy job. Just taking boxes and putting it somewhere else on the airplane. And not to mention, they do give you like round trip tickets and stuff like half off. Because I know people that work at LAX. They give you discounts, bro. Them discounts are mighty nice. I wouldn't want to mess with no guy named Bebo. It sounds like something from a cartoon, like Adventure Time or something. Bebo.
And that he was criminally underpaid. But there was one redeeming quality of his job, and that was, in virtue of working for an airline, he got all sorts of free airfare. And so not only did he get to fly for free all over the world,
let me just say, it's been 4 months. You guys witnessed me pick this video live. And I just said the same thing that he said. I don't know when you guys will believe that me and Mr. Ballin are connected to each other, but now is the time to start believing.
he got to fly basically anytime he wanted up to Alaska to visit his hometown and see his family, something that was very important to him. The people that knew Bebo said he had a great sense of humor, he was extremely friendly, and you could always catch him with his head buried in a book. And his co-workers would say he had aspirations to be an officer in the military. And when all those people that knew Bebo the best were asked, why do you think he did what he did on August 10th, 2018, none of them have an answer. On that fateful day, at 1:35 p.m. local time, a passenger airplane owned by Horizon Airlines flew into SeaTac Airport, where Bebo worked. And so this plane was not scheduled to fly for the rest of the day, so it was taxied to the far north section of the airport to a parking spot called Cargo 1. At 7:15 p.m. that evening, Bebo arrived at Cargo 1, and he climbed inside the empty aircraft and made his way into the cockpit. He followed the startup procedure until the plane was on and the propellers were starting to turn. He hopped out of the plane, got in his tow vehicle, and used it to turn the plane around so its nose was pointed towards the airfield. He moved the tow vehicle out of the way, and then climbed back inside the aircraft, shut it behind him, and got in the cockpit and began taxiing out towards the runway. For the next few minutes, air traffic control bombarded Bebo over the radio, asking him, "What are you doing? This is unauthorized movement. You should not be heading towards the runway right now." But Bebo never responded. Instead, he just continued on until he reached the beginning of the runway, at which point, despite having no flight experience, minus some video games and fiddling with some switches in the cockpit while he was in the tow team, he managed to go full throttle and get this plane careening down the runway and successfully took off. But that was nothing compared to what he did next. Over the course of his 1 hour-long flight, he expertly performed backflips and barrel rolls and these huge loops in the sky, dangerous maneuvers that even expert pilots might risk stalling the plane and crashing. But he didn't. It was like he'd been doing this his whole life. Onlookers on the ground were shocked to see this passenger airline performing these ridiculous stunts so low to the ground that all over Seattle, you had people filming this plane and posting it to social media.
Let me see.
So in real time, it was like the world was made aware of Bebo up in the sky. And so people went outside and just watched as he flew around. But the real story is not the aerial stunts that Bebo was pulling in the sky. It was the strange, calm conversation that Bebo had with the air traffic controller the whole time he was up in the sky. The extremely professional, very calm air traffic controller tries to convince Bebo that he really needs to come down and land this aircraft. And he begins telling him where he can go, different airfields, and if he needs to, he can land out in the Puget Sound. But Bebo kind of laughs it off and says, "You know, I wasn't really ever trying to land this plane. I just wanted to do a couple maneuvers before I put it down. And so as Bebo soared through the sky, this controller tries in vain to convince Bebo to stop what he's doing, and Bebo's just completely ignoring him and cracking jokes with him and telling him how he just loves the scenery up there and how beautiful it is. And then at one point, Bebo becomes remorseful, and he says to the controller that he really hopes he hasn't ruined his day, and he feels really bad for the people that he's inevitably going to hurt. And then in Bebo's most poignant moment, he tells the controller that he's just a broken guy, and he's got a couple of screws loose, and he didn't know it until now. Towards the end of the flight, Bebo tells the controller that he's going to try for one more barrel roll, and if it goes well, he's going to go nose down and call it a night. The controller tries to convince him that it's still possible to try to land, but at this point, Bebo's not listening. At 8:45 p.m., the nose of the plane was seen pointed straight down at the Earth. 1 minute later, at 8:46 p.m., Bebo intentionally crashed into a small island off the coast of Seattle. He was the only fatality in the crash. Here is a condensed version of some of the commentary between Bebo and the air traffic controller, along with some of the real footage of him flying the plane.
I just kind of want to do a couple maneuvers, see what it can do before I put her down, you know?
Approach welcome, final runway 16 right.
Wilco. Man, I'm a ground service agent. I don't know what that is.
There is the runway just off your right side and about a mile. Do you see that?
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to land it. I wasn't really planning on landing it. I got a lot of people that care about me, and it's going to disappoint them.
Dang, he did some Grand Theft Auto type stuff.
That I did this. I would like to apologize to each and every one of them. Just a broken guy. Got a few screws loose, I guess. Never really knew it until now. I think I'm trying to do a barrel roll. And if that goes good, now I'm just going to nose down and call it a night.
Nose down.
How Bebo was able to take off and fly around and pull these stunts without any formal training remains a mystery. Some people believe he was planning this for a long time, which is why whenever he was in the cockpit, when he was in the tow team, he would ask pilots to explain the different switches and toggles and how to use them, and he would feign that he was just curious, when in reality he was actually trying to learn how to fly the plane. As for the incredible stunts he was doing, it's believed he did learn those in a video game. But even if this is true, that he learned how to fly a plane by asking a couple questions and playing video games, the chances of it working out and actually successfully taking off and doing what he did are astronomically low. Normal people can't do that. And that's why the internet gave Bebo a new nickname to commemorate the fact that basically no one could have done this but him. And so they named him the Sky King. So that's going to do it, guys. If you found the secret in today's episode, let us know in the comments what it is and where you found it, so give us the timestamp. And if you're the first to do that, we'll pin you at the top of the comments section. If you enjoyed today's video and you haven't done this already, please sneak into the like button's house and steal all of their sweatpants strings. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly 3 or 4 video uploads. If you want to get in touch with me, you can direct message me on Instagram or on Twitter. My username for both platforms is the same. It's JohnBallin416. I also have a ton of content over on TikTok where my username is Mr. Ballin. I also have a second YouTube channel called Mr. Ballin Shorts where I post short videos. If you have a story suggestion, please submit it to our subreddit just called Mr. Ballin. It's linked in the description below. So whether I see you on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, or some combination, just know that I really appreciate your support, and until next time, that's going to do it. See ya.
Well, man, right now my time is 2:22 in the morning, so that's going to be it for me for tonight. So yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping by and showing great support, and that's going to be it until next week. But yeah, man, the only thing I can see about these videos is like how quickly they can build you up and then knock you back down. We went from who was the first video? I forgot. Let me see. What was it? Yeah, it went from that John dude. He made you angry, and then you went over to the older lady, which like kind of like built you up. Like, yeah, man, fight back against the intruders and win. And then it just went to like completely just like sad. I mean, in his own way, I guess he wanted to go that way. But can you imagine teaching somebody something, not knowing that you're helping them to kill themselves? Like, that's, to me, that's like creepy, bro. That's like super, super creepy to me. But like he said, I don't know how he learned to do all those. Even in video games, they still don't teach you how to fly. It's just knobs and stuff. They don't teach you how to turn it on. They don't teach you how to maneuver. They don't teach you how to freaking do all that stuff. But he could have landed it if he really wanted to. I'm pretty sure he could have. But he said, I'm going to do one last barrel roll, and if that's still it, I'm just going to be in it for tonight. I think his dream was to always wanted to fly an airplane. I think that was his thing. I think working close to airplanes, he probably got fascinated, and he wanted to fly one before taking his own life. So that was his own little weird, happy way of ending it, going away happy, I guess, in some odd way. But don't ever do that, people. I feel like he could have just went to flight school and learned how to fly planes. Like, if your job was that bad, then you need to leave your job. If it ever comes to the point where you don't like your job and you have to think about hurting other people or hurting yourself, then it's probably time to quit. And just know there are people, like he said, there are people that care about you, so don't go and do that kind of stuff. Even me, if I'm there, if you guys need to talk to me, please talk to me. Just know the time zones are different, and I will answer when I can. And yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to say about this. But let me know down in the comment section if you enjoyed all the videos. If you enjoyed Mr. Ballin's videos, it was kind of like a little surprise type thing, just to see if it's all the videos or just the missing person one. So we got that one. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the live stream. If you want to look forward to more live streams in the future. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's going to do it for tonight. So I'm going to stick around for maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes if you guys want to ask questions or anything like that. If not, then that's it for tonight. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. May you guys have a safe weekend. Don't drink too much. Drink responsibly. Be aware of your surroundings. And if it feels bad, make sure you get out of there. That's all I can say. And be the Suzanne. Hashtag be Suzanne. Why can you not react to him? Is like copyright. It's because some of them were like, I think it was the missing person one, because he teamed up with the other guy that's in charge, or that owns the little stories of the 411 missing persons, and I think he makes them copyrighted because they're like partners or something now. But I don't know. We're going to see after this one. If they copyright this one, then this probably will absolutely for sure be the last time. Because the last time, if you notice, his last video was probably like almost a month ago, or maybe like a couple of weeks ago. Thank you, Ubi. Awesome live stream, Zims, homie. Appreciate you. Keep up the great work. Appreciate you. All right, I'm going to go rate the like button's house. Yo, thank you, Luca. I appreciate you. Thank you. Is it Mihail? Mihail? If I'm saying it wrong, just let me know. Thank you for the live, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys stopping by and showing support. Sorry for not being earlier for your uploads anymore. Nah, you're good. You don't have to be on time. I'll just post it and you guys can watch it whenever you want. You can watch it 2 weeks from now, a month from now, a year from now. As long as you guys, are enjoying their content and I'm able to upload for you guys, then I'm happy. So you guys don't really have to get here. It's not a certain time you have to get here, So, I mean, yeah. But yeah. Yeah. We're at 1,628 subscribers, man. I would have never thought. I've been trying for 3 years, man. 3 years I've been on YouTube. 3. Oh yeah, where's my super suit? Where's my super suit? Yeah, that was a Halloween one. I took gaming videos seriously, man. You guys would have loved the horror gameplays. But some of you guys don't like video games, so I might open up my video game channel again eventually. Start another video game channel at some point. Ubi starts voice acting school. Really? Oh shoot! Congratulations, man. I'm not even one to do that, so I'm happy for you. Let me know. Give me some sneak peeks, some trailers or something, man. I want to see them. What games will you play, like horror or... Yeah, I play mostly horror games. Alright, Texas. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you, American Eagles. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. I mean, back then I played like Outlast. I played some of Amnesia. I played Visage. I played a whole lot of different kind of scary games. Stay Close. I played Aria. It was a whole lot. I have a whole lot of them on my YouTube channel. If you scroll down, you will see I started doing reacting videos like 2 or 3 months ago. So this wasn't my original plans for this channel, but gaming wasn't working out, and because a lot of people usually have their own little preferred gamers, so it was like too crowded. So I just thought I'd branch off and start doing reaction videos, because a lot of people said my reactions was funny on, you know, on horror games. So I thought I'd take it over and see how it would turn out, and fortunately it turned out pretty well. We've doubled our subscribers in those 2 to 3 months that I have changed over. So this looking like it's going to be the route, and for those of you that like gaming content, then stick around for that too, because I'm going to go back to that eventually, and I'm also going to go back to my vlogging channel eventually too. So I would watch your don't worry, I definitely will. Bet Ubi, I'm looking forward to it. I would watch your gaming, man. All the jump scares would be fun. Yeah, I got a couple of them. So if you can, just stop by. I think I got a playlist. It's called Reprisal Zim's Jump Scares and Reactions. So it's a playlist on the channel. So if you're going to go check out some of them and let me know what you think, that'll be pretty cool. My goal is to get a dubbing job for Funimation, Zim's homie, but going to go through voice acting school first and do a couple small projects on my channel. Yeah, just do voice acting and see if you like it, and get a feel for what kind of character you would like prefer to play. Would you like drama? Would you like action? You know, romance? You never know. Just see what you like, and then just go from there. What's up, Stabby Toaster? We about to head out here soon. We just finished a live stream. I'm just hanging out, answering some questions. Alright, Griffith. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good night, or a good morning, or evening, wherever you may be. But yeah, man, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, hit your subscribe button. Please go check out these content creators. Hit me up on Twitter, and I will be able to message you guys if you guys want to talk to me on Twitter. Either Twitter or in the comment section, whichever you guys prefer. Send recommendations, man, and then I'll probably get to them sometime next week. Have you ever thought of playing Little Nightmares? I've thought about it, but a lot of people really don't like gaming videos. I'll probably have to take a poll or something and see who would want to see gaming videos and who would want to just stick to reactions. By the way, where are you from, Zims? I am from Los Angeles, but I am currently in Japan because I'm in the military. So I'll just be in Japan. So that's why my time zones are different. Yeah, so. But again, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. I'll probably go ahead and get some sleep because it's getting kind of late. So please feel free to message your questions to my Twitter. I'm telling you guys, I am very friendly. I don't mind you guys send me messages. I can talk to you normally. Whatever it is, I don't care. If you just want to say, hey, Zims, I made pizza today. I'm like, oh, shit, nice. You know, it's chill. So, but again, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.